Hey, aloha. Good morning. Good day. Good wherever you are, because that's how the internet and it works. I appreciate you guys here live, and then also all those of you watching this later. Enjoy Korean natural farming office hours for March 12th, 2023. Perhaps just before the great banking collapse. Who knows? Who knows what's on the horizon? The only way to get any solace these days is to appeal to some higher power. Hopefully a benevolent one, and hopefully just, depends on how you are, monotheist, polytheist, but in the end, it is all one. So today, preponderance of the great. There are great pressures at work. Thank God they're at work. By meeting them with modesty and patience, you avoid misfortune and meet with success. The image of this hexagram is that of a beam under great load. It sags in the middle and is in danger of giving way. You are in a similar situation now. The pressures of the moments are enormous, and there's a temptation to wiggle away and flee, and to resort to plotting and conniving and aggressive actions of the ego. Oh, yes. It is by resisting this temptation and holding firmly to proper principles that you survive and succeed. Lol. This is in fact a moment for which you have been preparing yourself for some time, unfortunately. A powerful energy has been accumulated. Imagine a flood pressing against a dam, and it's up to you to direct its flow. If you succumb to fear, desire, or anger, and resort to incorrect behaviors, the dam bursts, and the pent-up energy causes destruction and misfortune. If, on the other hand, you cling to what is correct, that's modesty, balance, patience, independence, and gentleness, then you will obtain the aid of the higher power, and the accumulated energy will be directed towards a profound success. Thank God. What is called for now is quiet integrity with others, no matter how they may assault you. Remain modest and patient. Good luck. In your actions, seek to penetrate gently and steadily rather than forcibly and explosively. Meet the difficulties of the day cheerfully and resolutely. By taking great care now and by remaining correct in every moment, by embodying the principles of the sage, you make possible the arrival of good fortune. And so I just want to thank you guys, and showing up again. Some of you who were last week, you got to see a little bit of me in a frustrated state, and only if you're here live, because I took it down immediately because it was super embarrassing. So you'll notice there is no episode from March, 5th, right? Yeah. And I always appreciate your love, your forgiveness, your compassion, your understanding, everything to understand that, in natural farming, it's up to all of us, and we all go through ups and downs. And so I want to thank you for tuning back in. I know Solar Gourmet, Mark was here, all you guys. And what's up, Marcus in New York? It's great to see you guys, really building this whole thing up. And we even got someone tuning in from Japan. BM, what's up? Spring is just hitting, cool season, plants just starting growing the last few days. Man, that's awesome. It's so great to see, the world and go through these changes, right? It goes through winter, And then it comes back to spring, and then the whole, death and birth, recycle, rebirth, whole thing going on. It's pretty cool to see. Here in Hawaii, we don't quite get that. We kind of get this always persistent thing, but at least it stopped raining, and it stopped raining kind of last week, and it's been just, I tell you, it was a month of drought, month and a half of drought, and then it was a month of rain, and those types of things, man, if you don't have it balancing back and forth, it's hard. But thing to report is that, even though I started to spray all the natural farming things early in January, things started to flower. Then we got hit heavy by the rain. I think the natural farming stuff really helped the flowers stay on the plants, even though it was getting hit with so much rain. And the reason that, flowers fall off when it rains is because the rain contains nitrogen in it. So, oftentimes we're all worried about getting nitrogen into the ground, and actually a fresh rainfall will actually have some nitrogen in it, as well as oxygen and, other things that plants' roots need and plants need for growth. But that excess nitrogen, when it rains real heavy, it's not like that it's damp, and then the dampness makes the flower break off or fall. It's that extra nitrogen that falls and hits it, and it forces the plant to be like, oh, like, I didn't really want that right now, because nitrogen makes it go back to vegetative growth, right? And so it's like just blooming, just going to puberty, and that's like, no, you're going back to vegetative growth, and it's just like, it drops all its flowers, and so then you get poor fruit set. So having a month of rain after everything's flowering is not, or while during flower is really not that great of a situation. So it's, that's even more the reason to double up and to do more natural farming during those times, even during the rain, especially when it's raining and you think, well, I'm spraying this stuff and it's not gonna absorb into the plant because it's just raining. It's just going to wash it off. But maybe not when it's pouring rain, go spray. But right, like if you get a little lull in it, I mean, I don't think it rains anywhere else in the world like it rains here. Maybe some other places in the tropics where they get monsoon season, it just rains for like, months or weeks or whatever. But if you get a little lull, go spray, right? Because it's still, obviously, if it's raining, it's overcast. So you're not going to have it cause problems of, even if it's midday and you're out spraying, it's like, it's fine if it's overcast. And the plant really absorbs all these foliar sprays that we give them within 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. It's like, it's already absorbed it. It's already like brought it into its body because all the solutions are spraying the food, the cleanser, medicine, structure, all those things are water soluble. They've already been digested. They're already ready for the to absorb the nutrients and everything. And they just bring it right into their bodies and they don't even have to digest it. It's like, so that little 15-minute lull, you get out there, you spray, it's like now the plant has this nutrition. Now it's brought back to balance, right? All that rain was offsetting it, making it more nitrogenous, making it go back to more vegetative, and you spray the other things, you bring it back to more balance. And now you're able to have that nutrition to hold on to those, the flowers and keep them there, even though it's raining. And so I think, I'm looking out and, my MacNut trees were, it's actually my dad's MacNut trees, were in full flower. And now I'm looking at them and they have little MacNuts forming. So even though it was that huge rain, because I was spraying the natural farming, I believe I've gotten through the flowering into like a better fruit set. And also, my lychee trees here. That's actually, again, my dad's lychee trees. But, spraying it on the farm and they're really looking good. They really got a good, nice fruit set. They're really doing well. And that's kind of the miracle of KNF. That's what I want to be doing is, getting out there to spray at the right times, especially when you have this poor weather coming on. And you may think to yourself, oh, it's not worth it because it's going to rinse. But no, it's out there. Do it, and it absorbs things, and they get in there, and it gets even better, you know. And so, yeah, we definitely got a global group here. We got Germany checking in, and Western Australia. What's up, Western Australia? Yeah. So if the other side is the Gold Coast, you guys must be what, like the Silver Coast on that side? I don't know. Right? I don't know what they say in Australia about that. But envy the rain. I would be super careful. If you got this kind of rain there, it would probably be catastrophic. I was just watching the news, or not the news, but just like something that showed me there's a huge flooding in California. And they're like, it rained a foot of rain and tragic flooding. And I'm like, a foot of rain regularly falls here in a day. like it only semi starts to flood when there's like, 4 feet of rain here dropping in 24 hours. You know what? I think one time we got like over 6 feet of rain in 24 hours. And so when you envy the rain, just be careful what you wish for, because if you got this type of rain where you're at, probably most of the stuff would wash away. So just I always just, anytime it's not raining, I don't pray for rain. Anytime it's raining, I don't pray for sun. I just let it do its thing, because I know it will come, and it'll come at the right time. And so anyway, that's where we're at with that kind of intro, bringing you up to where we're at. Hopefully I'll get the drone out this week. It's really nice today, beautiful day. And mainly myself just on the farm, what I've been up to, really been dealing with my cows. I got 5 cows now, got my milk cow, and trying to keep her on the best pastures possible, and then trying to continue to improve my pastures. And then I've been grazing my 2 Wagyu beef cows in the yards, and where we used to just keep a nice lawn, I'm now letting it grow out a little bit and just mowing it with the cows, which is awesome because they mow it way better. And it's also interesting to see what's happening to the yard in terms of like the cows' hooves and stuff kind of, when it's real rainy and stuff, they kind of mess up the smoothness of the yard, which is kind of nice to have a nice smooth yard. You don't want to be walking in your yard and tripping kind of thing. But it's interesting to see where the cows are urinating and defecating, laying fat dumps. And some of it we're scraping up and using for other garden beds that are nearby, but some of it, just leaving it on the yard. And it's interesting to see where the patty or the urine hit the ground. There's a nice little brown, brown. It's brown to my eyes. Green flush around it. You can see the as the patties kind of decompose, you can see this leaving the ground more fertile around there. The grouse is growing better where the patties were. And that when I was studying with Elaine Ingham back in 2012, when she was here and I took her 5-day workshop, she was talking about, you can tell that your grass is infertile. Like you like here you think your yard is like all awesome and like as best as it can be. And if an animal like a dog or, a cat or you or whatever is urinating or taking craps in your yard, you'll notice those green spots around. And it's just proof that your entire yard, your entire grass is actually somewhat, nitrogen deficient or fertilizer deficient. It's not, the microbiology in a yard tends to be some of the worst out there, right? Because I'm always cutting the grass down to, 2 inches, less than 2, inch and a half, whatever, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. I don't know, like that short stuff. And then there's no roots, right? or there's very little roots. They're very shallow surface roots. It's not like I'm getting deep penetration roots down. And then how are those roots in the microorganisms? So they can only feed a very shallow swath of microorganisms. And so then how are those microbes supposed to, do nitrogen fixing? How are they supposed to do, nutrient exchange? And they don't. And largely what you end up with is a kind of a sick monoculture of very shallow grass that's hanging on and nothing, I guess people like that. They like the homogeny of it. Homogeny, I don't know, of it, of the, similar species there and a kind of a monoculture of it. And they like that grass. But ultimately it's a very unhealthy system. It's like very thin skin, sure it's better than no skin where it's going to form a scab, but it's like kind of this very thin skin and it's not very fertile. And then subsequently leading you to then, if you're not taking very good care of your yard or you don't have enough water on it, it'll die very quickly. It'll, most folks try to like even fertilize their yard with like, some sort of turf builder or something. But it's just showing that anywhere those green spots are happening, that's extra, extra fertilizer, but extra biology starting to bloom in that area and starting to bring more richness to that area. And so what she was saying is if you're seeing those rings, like those, like something peas in your yard and then there's a ring around it and then in a week or two, and it's a nice green flush out, it's just a proof that your entire yard is in a very poor state of fertility and nutrition and life. And so it's funny for me to see these cows going around starting to fertilize, drop these things, and start to see the grass get better, thicker. I mean, I don't know, like for me where I'm grazing, it maybe makes sense. I really want it to be rich and fertile. It may be in most people's case where they're just mowing their lawn just to keep it mowed because they're, they have too much money and they don't know what to, they don't know how to plant a garden, or, places for kids to play and all that. But, I'm not just totally hating on yards. Although, well, maybe, but that if I took like a compost tea, and I take these KNF solutions and I just spray them on my grass, I would probably see benefit. I would probably see the grass get better. I'd probably see, just more fertile, quicker growing, better everything. So yeah, on my weekly spray trip around, I'm now, now thinking of just doing my lawn and, really trying to get that fertility up, because I know that, if the grass is unhealthy, that means disease is coming near me, right? And any kind of whatever illness, disease, it's just like, if it's not healthy and it doesn't have an immune system and it's not a healthy microorganisms moving, then it's unhealthy basically. So why am I continuing to perpetuate this unhealthy thing surrounding my house, my home, where I live? Why am I, just like neglecting that basically? And it's like, I don't think I will anymore. I really think, trying to ubiquitously get the solutions out there, spreading even IMO in my yard, may make a huge difference. So really trying to get into that and to do those things. And then BM is saying, maybe if you hit those pies with a mower or a flare mower, your dad wouldn't even know they're there. Aside from pugging if it's too wet and they tear up the sod. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hitting, and I'm not worried about the piles and those things. I'm just leaving them. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, and if you look at our land, I lease majority of this land from my dad. So, it's mine to do what I want within the terms of the lease, right? So he doesn't have much say on that. And he's all into natural farming, and he thinks, I'm grazing the cows, and he's like, cool, man, that's awesome. It's not like he's telling me not to do that. So, but yeah, just getting those things out there and letting it go, But I think the ultimate way to do it is more, compost tea, in IMO tea, growing the biology, but then also putting the nutrients and the nutrition out there. So we got a question here from Dibajit Goswami. What's up, man? Sounds like India. Yeah. Awesome, man. He's asking, what's causing mosaic virus disease? Well, mosaic virus disease is caused by the mosaic virus. And then the disease typically is like, at least when I get mosaic virus on my taro, my kalo, like, I don't know what you call it. But taro, it's the Hawaiian staple. It'll form these big splotches, and then the leaf will then rot out there and all these splotches. It looks kind of like it got big chicken pox type of thing. And so what causes mosaic virus is mosaic virus. But what causes mosaic virus dis-ease, that's a different question, right? Because things can have viruses and not express them, right? For instance, I could have herpes, and then herpes in the mouth, whatever that. I don't even know what that is. I don't have it, but I could have it, right? And there's people that they don't always have it, right? It's not always like they always have cold sores, and they're always having cold sores. The cold sores appear when they get stressed, or when they eat the wrong food, and that causes internal stress, right? And they have some sort of thing that takes them and brings their immune system down, right? And so what causes the virus is a virus, right? But what causes the disease, and what causes the symptoms is a breakdown of the immune system of the plant or the animal or whatever is infected. And so one way to keep, say I have mosaic disease around here, mosaic virus around here, and clearly I do, right? Because my plants will on occasion express this, and it's a virus, and every single taro is besides a few that you can do from seed, which I've never done it from seed. I've always done it from just breaking off a bud and then cloning it. That's a clone, and then planting that. So the original parent has the virus. That means its child that comes off has the virus. So I'm constantly planting virus-ridden, material out there. I have no way to get rid of it. I can't go in and genetically go in and get rid of it. It's there. But what I can do is I can build the immune system of that taro up so well that it won't express that mosaic virus in it. And so it's a carrier, sure it's infected, sure if I bring it somewhere else it'll infect other things, especially if they have low immune system. But it's about getting the immune system of the plant is as robust as possible. And how to do that is by bringing the plant into balance and giving it a balanced everything it needs, not too much of anything, but exactly as much of it, everything it needs. And then it will have a better immune system. It will grow. It won't express this dis-ease. It will continue to grow. And so for me, what happens with the taro is when it rains a lot, it causes stress on the plant, even though taro is supposed to be this water-loving thing, because I do dry land cultivation, it still stresses it out when it rains a whole lot. And maybe it's not enough sunlight, maybe it's, whatever. It's multiple things of what I don't know what ultimately causes it. I just know that when it rains a lot, it does that. And so if I put IMOs in the taro bed when I'm first doing it, a lot less mosaic virus. If I spray during adverse weather conditions, next to no mosaic virus. And I think you can walk around my farm right now and you won't even find any mosaic virus. It's here, but none of my plants are symptomatically showing this. They're just going ahead and continuing to grow, and it's pretty awesome. And then the other virus I'm really struggling with here is banana bunchee top, and it's where the top just bunches together. And instead of growing out where, a leaf comes out and the next leaf comes out, it's all like coming out like this, and it's all like trying to come out, and all the leaves are and they bunch up, and then the fruit can't even come out of there. And if you cut into the top of this and you just cut through there, you'll find it's just the most gross, like horse butt smell of rot, and the aphids that are in there are all rotting in the top and causing this rot. And sure, so it's a virus that caused that rot and this aphids that transferred it. But the solution is I spray the maintenance solution plus lactic acid bacteria into there. So I hit the top, I'm taking my little spray gun as I'm driving around the tractor, and I'm hitting every single banana as I cruise through, and if I hit that, then all of a sudden the plant will stop exhibiting that symptom. And after about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of treatment, you'll start to see the next leaf, instead of that bunching, it starts to come up. And the next leaf, instead of that bunching, it starts to come up. And the next leaf, instead of that bunching, it starts to come up. And it basically grows through the disease. So it grows out of the disease, even though it still has the virus, right? And everyone else's solution, like the university, they come and they just inject your plant with Roundup and try to kill it, and just kill it and be like, kill this death. There's nothing recovering from this virus. It's over and it's dead, and we want to contain the spread, so we're going to kill it. And that just then kills your banana, right? Your banana that was there. And instead of, because, it's viral material, it's like, well, just because, someone has herpes, do you go kill them? No, you try to contain and control and minimize the symptoms, and, create conditions that don't cause them to be symptomatic, and all these things. Like, you try to avoid these things. But that's, I guess I'm sort of fringe on that, of like thinking outside the box on this. And I've seen it time and time again on my land. If I have the time and energy to get out there and to spray, and if it's really bad, twice a week, get out there and spray. But once a week's pretty much good enough for it to grow out of that and not be symptomatic, and to come through, and not have disease, even though it has a viral presence. So anyway, that's, on viruses, on those, that's, a virus is just a small little software patch update. Maybe it's a corrupt one and it causes bad things, but it's also just changing the genome and trying to select for plants that are in a healthy situation. If the environment's unhealthy, then that update is to kill that plant so that something else can grow, so that it can restore and get that area healthy again. Like, even though it seems like nature's sometimes pretty cruel towards us, it's actually fairly benevolent in terms of, sure, it's culling the weak and getting rid of the sick, but that's only to make room for the healthy, or to make room for something that's more compatible for that area. And that's kind of what viruses are, and what they're doing here with us. So to understand that, and to just be like, well, if it wants to make the environment better, if I just make the environment better, then the virus doesn't have to be there to do this, and the symptoms don't have to come, and I can just correct ahead of time. So again, this is why natural farming is all about getting in tune with nature. Some people will say harmony. I don't really like that word. I'd rather say getting in balance with it, so that everything, goes this way, goes that way. It's all balanced, Because if you're talking about harmony, well, then where's the melody, and you're still unbalanced, right? But balance implies balance. So it's, that's why I like to say that. So anyway, and Braden up in, here's up in Michigan. Check out Mogili, Chaverna. You can Chaverna Farms. I wish I had his last name's kind of hard to. I'm not exactly sure I'm saying it right. I'm just remembering from what it was, but Mogili up there, he does hemp stuff. He's a cool dude. Check him out in Michigan. He knows about KNF and stuff. He's trying to get it in and trying to get the hemp herd into things, and he's a cool dude. You'll like him. And so, yeah. So is there a Caraza? Yeah. He's saying, is there a scaled down version of the KNF chicken coop? Sure. I mean, around here, folks do what they call a Hubbell Bubble. Let me just pull this up. Naturalfarminghawaii.net. And then let me pull this up here. Wait for the internet. Let me just, here to get this over here, go like this and show you. So naturalfarminghawaii.net, my website here. If you go up here to livestock and then you check out chickens, and then you go to chickens, here's the chickens, and then plans and blueprints, there's those. There's somewhere on here. Oh yeah, that chicken. Okay, it's not there. Well, that's part of it is that, oh gosh, organizing information and all this, But the other place is, let's see here, trying to find this. So down here, let's see. Well, they're actually the University of Hawaii publications, so sorry here, even I'm trying to find it and I can't find it and it's not my stuff, but I do believe that here, maybe Pure KNF has it here, this research. Let's see, indigenous organisms, livestock. Well, yeah, so I don't blame you guys for not being able to find information. Here it is, though. An introduction to natural farming, poultry production in Hawaii, a wave of the future. And how would you know that's where it is and what it is? But that's the one. And this PDF here talks about the housing, and this is a Hubbell Bubble coop design of kind of showing this small little mini coop. This is for, I'm not sure how many birds they're looking at here. But they basically show you how to create one of these little Hubbell Bubble chicken coops. There's a picture of it, little mini thing there. It's not really the best picture of it, but anyway, there's a University of Hawaii document by Keala. She was Mike DuPont's intern for a while. And Lehua, yeah. Oh, both those girls, amazing women. But yeah, basically iron roof over the thing, little small thing, 2x4 coming across, 2x6 there. These are just small 2x4s, 1x3s, whatever. And this thing here, small deal for you to see. So hopefully this document would show you how to, do a smaller scale one and do that. But yeah, I don't blame you guys for not being able to find information. I'm not even able to find that much of it. Maybe I should spend some time organizing. I don't know. I kind of go up and down in natural farming of like times I feel real passionate about it, and then other times I just feel like, meh. And so it's hard. It's a lot of stuff, and it's easier for me to make products that people can buy, because then when I'm getting some money back and it's nice, then I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. It really makes it so I'm getting, that flow happening. Otherwise it's like, I don't know. I really put a lot of time and charity into this, which I'm not, I love it. That's what we're doing, but, so, and then BM is saying, did I get the Android KNF dilution app patched yet? I don't know what you mean by that. It's correct. Both the apps, they're correct. I know some people say my app's wrong. It's not. It's based on Master Cho's direct, his exact stuff. If I go here to Master Cho's original. Let's see. I have it around here somewhere. But if I go to his stuff, let's see, is it here? Yeah, it is. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, it's basically it's verbatim natural or verbatim Master Cho's recommendations is what it is, It's just so there's nothing wrong with the app. So if you're asking if I patched it, I'm not sure what I was supposed to patch on it, but that's just yeah, it's as far as I know, it's correct. So that the Android app with the last Android patch kind of had a problem with the new Android patch. Compatibility, maybe it's working then. I'm pretty sure it is working. I think it's back on the store. It was off the store for a little bit because of, like they have you sign all these agreements and stuff and basically sign your soul away to these companies that are clearly not that ethical. And so but yeah, but it's there. It should be. It's KNF Solution Calculator on the Android store. I don't know. Let me see. Is it on there? Let me see. I'll just look up the Play Store here and see. Let's see. KNF Calculator. Spell that right. And search the Play Store. Let's see. Is it there? Well, it ain't in the first search results. That's for sure. Maybe it's not on there. KNF Solution Calculator. Huh? It ain't in the. Oh no, it's right there. It's right there. It's showing right there. That right there. Oh, it won't focus, but it's right there. That one right there. Yeah, it's on the store. So it's there. So I guess I'm glad I fixed that. All right, and so Juan Santa is saying, I've been using liquid IMO and compost tea, but my sprayer clogs completely, so I just drenched the soil with it. If I filter the tea, am I removing the microbes, specifically the fungal strands? No. I would run your thing through I would run your tea through a filter. And in fact, I end up using these. They're called bubble hash bags. Here on Amazon, which I'm not really promoting Amazon, but I just search for hash bag here, and then these are like a 220 micron filter zip bag, like something like this, where 220 microns, all the microbes are going to go through this, but it's going to pull out your things you don't want to clog up, and so you can get, here a 2-gallon bag. I probably should have some affiliate link for this, but it's like, these bags here, you can get a 20-gallon one. The reason I like these is they're really sturdy. And so, you can use them again and again and again and just pour your tea through, some sort of filter, like a 220 micron would be fine. The things, you don't worry about it for the other things, but yeah, those things, people use them for, making hash, but I use them just for compost tea filters. and filter bags. They're great for that. And so yeah, always filter your tea before you put it into your sprayer. You know, otherwise, yeah, it's gonna clog, right? Yeah. So, then Aaron's saying his hens started laying this week. Asparagus is popping, alliums are jamming, and honeysuckle buds bursting mad. In Indiana, one love. Cool, man. Well, Indiana, man, you should check out Stonemason. You guys probably could be good friends up there. Of just, you guys have both. It sounds like great gardens and just growing the right crops, and that's cool. I'm great. Yeah. And yeah, thanks. You know, I do what I do because I really care about natural farming. I got someone here. It's actually my dad just turned 70 a couple days ago, and so one of his friends is visiting, and you know, so we're turning an IMO pile with him, trying to show him about that. And it's funny, I just love teaching natural farming and stuff, and I end up going and just, you know, really put it in easy terms for him. He comes from kind of a conventional landscaping NPK type background, and able to take all the, you know, what we're doing and put it into his language and be like, look, this is what we're doing. He's like, oh, this is really cool. And he's like, this is you know, it's a completely different paradigm, but I totally see, you know, what's happening, why you're doing these things, you know, and everyone wants to grow more biologically friendly. And he was just talking about the price of fertilizer just skyrocketing. And, you know, I mean, everything's skyrocketing in terms of, you know, that's what happens when you print $10 trillion or, you know, whatever globally. It's probably even more of what we've done. But when you inject 40% new money into the money supply, everything's going to go up by 40% at least, if not more. Right. So, but understanding that and understanding that natural farming gives you the hedge against inflation, because, you know, you know, if you're just, especially if you're doing the disgustingly cheap methods where you're not using sugar, it's just like it's you know, it's getting cheaper year over year, and your food's worth more, so you're actually making more money as a farmer. So inflation should be good if you're doing, you know, Korean natural farming, you know, especially the disgustingly cheap parts of it. And it just snowed a blanket too, so that's amazing. You guys are going, asparagus pops through the snow. It's a hardcore plant, man. What's up, Tanzania? And then I had this past week too. I had a brethren call me from, living in California, but then he's going back to Kenya and Lake Victoria, and he's making natural farming there, and he wants to. He was interested in Elaine Ingham's course, trying to understand soil biology and bring that back to the great folks of Africa, because, you know, they're all great agriculturalists over there, but they don't know much about regenerative agriculture on a broad scale, and they're being targeted by these large American and, you know, European agrochemical corporations, which are, you know, telling them the only way to grow is by buying these chemicals and these treated seeds and these genetic modifications. And really, they're, you know, if you knew regenerative agriculture and you're a great agriculturalist, there's no need for that stuff. You can grow and make better yields with just, you know, power of nature, using, you know, disgustingly cheap methods, and then working up to the whole, you know, pure KNF methods of really what Master Cho was teaching, of really getting into high quality natural farming. So love the African folks and those guys. He's talking about the app. The Goofman's talking about the app actually being more precise, because the app doesn't actually round. I mean, it rounds a little bit, but it doesn't do a rounding error to begin with. Whereas most calculations, if I tell you it's 4 milliliters per gallon, you're going to be wrong as that scales. Are you going to be extremely wrong? Probably not. Is it still going to work? Most likely. But as you get the app, you get even closer to your correct dilutions for what's recommended for Master Cho. And so that app is actually the most accurate way of calculating out how much KNF solutions to make. So, and Willie, what's up, my New Zealand friend? Aroha. He's saying, what's the shelf life for the leaf bloom and fruit mixtures? I have yet to try this over time. The shelf life for them is, about 3 months or so. Once you mix everything, it can go longer. Sure, it can go less. But, 3 months is about what Master Cho says. Where's the science? Where's the proof? Where's the actual side-by-side trials? I don't know. But that's what he says. Because basically all those things start interacting with each other, right? This one starts interacting with that one and these things. And of those solutions and the concentrates, I'm going to pull up my book here and just go to those solutions real quick. Because, let's see, there we go. Let's see right here, and then let me switch it over. Let's see, we'll go with the side by side. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. Leaf solution would be food, cleanser, medicine, structure, fuel, and protectors all put together. Bloom would be food, cleanser, medicine, structure, fuel, protectors, and minerals. And fruit would be food, cleanser, medicine, structure, fuel, minerals, reproduction together. And so if you're going to mix kia ora, yeah, there you go. It's not aroha. It's pure life, I guess, is what you're saying, right? If I was to translate that across to my island, I think that's what I'm doing. Kia ora means it's like pure life, right? Something like that. Pure life of God. I think something like that. Kia ora. Because it'd be an L, ola, life, right? Kia would be like ki, pure God. So anyway, if you're gonna mix all these together, yeah, cool, awesome. That's kind of funny. It's like I speak New Zealand. I'm sure it wasn't called New Zealand. It's probably called Maori Moku, or I don't know, something. But so these, if you're gonna mix this in a concentrate, don't include the protectors, okay? So you could mix the food, cleansers, medicine, structure, fuel all together in a concentrate in these, similar to how you make maintenance solution, but don't put in the protectors. The protectors are gonna freaking start dying and interacting with these other things, and you're not gonna get their full benefit when you use them. They're alive, they're living, they're not going to be happy with that. Similar to the bloom, don't put in the protectors again. And then also, and then in the fruit, there is no of those. So, you can combine these all together and keep them in concentrate form and then later dilute them. However, what I really, really, really just ultimately recommend is that you just make a maintenance formula as a concentrate. And then say I'm going to use it and I want to do it for leaf, then I just add in fuel and protectors right at the end, right when I'm about to mix it into my dilute it. Right, so then I don't have to carry these 4 bottles. I just carry it in my maintenance bottle, put in 25 milliliters per gallon, and then drop in fuel and protectors, and now I got my leaf solution. Just for my bloom, my maintenance solution, because it's covered here, then just add in a tiny bit of fuel, a little bit of protectors, some minerals, and I'm good to go with my bloom. My fruit, just same thing. Keep this concentrate and then just add a little bit of fuel, a little bit of minerals, a little bit of reproduction. Boom, got my fruit. So it, because if you're going to combine these, don't put the protectors in them. I really, just everything I know about it, it's like those guys, they're really finicky. They're powerful. They'd corrupt your solution, but they'd also themselves suffer from the solution in those concentrates. It's like putting little things with a bunch of salt and things. It really kind of messes them up. Yeah, and the app's fun. It's easy. And even I use it all the time, right? I go dilute different things, and I'm like, in my mind I forget, and it's like, and then I'm like, oh yeah. It's this many milliliters. I'm like, okay, it gets me so much closer to do it. Yeah. And so pre-mixing. I mean, if you're going to use it a whole bunch, pre-mix it, right? I just say, just add the protectors at the end, right? You don't want that lactobacillus in there. And if you do, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just like, I think in my mind, I would always think you would get higher performance by not having it in a solution of other concentrates for many months before I try to use it. So that's what I'm thinking on those things. Yeah, thanks. And thanks. Yeah, I do like teaching. Although sometimes it's kind of this thing for me of like, I like it and then I'm like, ugh. But that's why I keep showing up every Sunday for this, and I hope you're enjoying and all this, and it's good. So do have about 10 more minutes here, and because it's something I've been doing, I may as well continue doing it, and I think I will. Where is it? It's this one. And I'll put this here like that, and then I'm going to bring this down. Can I bring that down? Bring it down like that. And we will continue to go over the Master Cho's recipes and his original thing. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this series. It's been sporadically in and out through the office hour, basically. Maybe I should start with it, but I typically end up ending with it. So if you check out the past few episodes, the endings of them, you'll pretty much find that I was going over these this presentation. And I still, Josh, I still do certification series at my farm. I don't have any scheduled right now, but if you get in touch with me, if you want to do it, we can set something up, figure it out. That's what I do. I have Airbnb. You can basically just stay here and do it. My teaching, all that. It's like, I just tell you one straight up issue is sometimes I put a class out and then nobody signs up, and then I'm like, ugh. And then sometimes I do put a class out and tons of people sign up, and it's like, and so if you really want this, come get it, man. Here I am, like, come get it. Because I just, like, I'm doing this every day. Like, I just do it. I'm not making all the solutions every day, but if someone was here that was like really avid and wanted to learn, it's like, bro, let's do the solutions, right? It's like, it's like, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. And I will be headed across the state of Hawaii this year. I got something planned for Maui in March, and I guess it's March already. Shit, that's coming up soon. Oops. But it's coming up real soon of doing this, and yeah, so I've been doing this. So yeah, it's worth staying on the farm. It's really beautiful. I mean, the two people that are staying here right now, I just was like, hey, how's it going, man? He's like, this place is epic. I don't want to leave. And I'm like, well, if you got enough money, you can stay forever. But yeah, just people love it here. It's so beautiful. It's so great. So yeah. Anyway, so gonna give it back to this recipes. And so today's one we're getting into, we finished up last week, brown rice vinegar. And the best way to contact me, email, just Drake@PureKNF or DrakeW@gmail. Either one gets to me. Or through the, even this, you can message me through, I think, YouTube. My account, like below down there, you click on it, you can message me. I'm pretty sure YouTube lets you send messages. Whatever, however, call me, I don't care, whatever. KNFfarm.com, I think, lists all that stuff. So whatever, people very rarely call me. It's kind of funny when people do call me. It's like, I always think that's funny. It's like you put it out there. And, yeah, no, it's all good, man. So, lactic acid bacteria, the most powerful microbe in the Milky Way. So let's see what Master Cho has to say on it. Looks like it's a short presentation. Looks like we'll be able to cover that in these few minutes here. And let's get into it. Yeah, if you guys don't subscribe to Long Island Audit, you probably should. Lactic acid bacteria, how to make LAB. Looks like you take rice wash water, and then look at that cute little microbe. Hello. And this other guy, you cover it with a paper, and you put the pot in the shade, and then 15 centimeters in depth, even on a large pot, is good for aeration in the liquid. And then you end up with liquid with labs, and for some reason there's rice bran on top. I don't know where the rice bran came from here, and liquid with labs. It's, that to me seems pretty darn confusing. But the basic idea is that you're getting starchy water here, which is the whole reason to get rice wash water. You get that milky, starchy water. That's the starch. Oh, you are too kind, bird. You are too kind. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always nice to get a super chat, especially from the love. And the rice wash water is starchy water. So lactobacillus, it's not very rich starchy water, but it's just starchy enough that the microbes will land in the starchy water and they will start to grow. If you leave this pot in the shade for 5 to 7 days, you will get some nasty stuff growing besides just lactobacillus. And it depends on your temperature. However, like right now, when, this time of year for most folks in America or whatever, 5 to 7 days would actually probably be appropriate. But summertime, any other time, it's going to be way too long. I recommend about 24 to 36 hours, something about that, to leave it out. And you will notice that this water will change consistency. That smell will change. It'll start to smell a little bit like sourdough, all those things. Yeah, man. Flights are cheap right now. Come on over. You mix that in, and basically you're catching the lactobacillus out of the air. They're all in the air. They're everywhere. That's the reason mammals are the dominant species on the planet, is the lactobacillus, and they land in the rice wash water. So covering it with a paper, I do not cover it with a paper, and in fact, I put it in a shallow dish. So this is definitely counter to what Master Cho is saying. But then he's saying, here's kind of what it looks like when it finished. You got the curds and the whey separated. So he's taken the stuff from here. So this liquid from this step, and he's adding that to milk at a ratio of 10 to 1. And then he's letting it sit, pour the milk with the LAS, which lactic acid serum maybe. And now it went from LAB to LAS. After 5 to 7 days, the fats will separate up to the top. The curds will rise. The whey will stick at the bottom. The whey is your lactobacillus. And then he uses he kind of filters it out from the bottom, which I don't. I just pour it off and separate the curds out with a filter. And then he adds crude sugar, which is very important. It's not molasses. It's actually brown sugar. And this is to super saturate it and keep it at room temperature, to keep it at room temperature. So I guess if you keep it in the fridge, you don't need to do that. So this is his step of pouring that in with the milk, 10 to 1, you get that. And then how to use it, he's saying, 0.3 concoction of LAS. I don't know how it got to LAS from LAB, but if you dilute it 0.3, you can put it in compost and you can put it on your plant leaves. It's actually typically usually 1 to 1,000. So I'm not sure how they got a 0.3 concoction here. But definitely in compost and livestock, you can put it 0.3. And if you're putting on plant leaves and you have a problem, 3% concentration sounds good. But if you don't have any problems, 3% concentration could probably be less than that, because the lactic acid bacteria will eat more of your things and outcompete your IMO. So be careful on that. And then there, he's done. So that's what you got from Master Cho for lactic acid bacteria. These 4 slides here, and 5 slides, but 2 of them were actually introduction and thank you. So it's really just 3 slides on how to do it. And I encourage you get the book here, because I also talk about the lactic acid bacteria, and here's the recipe that I show folks on how to do is this one, the KNF Protectors, the lactic acid bacteria. And I say step 1, put it into here, put it into a shallow dish, leave it out. Go to step 2, mix in with the milk. You end up getting curds and whey separating like this. Then you add in equal volume of brown sugar and you stir that in really well. And that's how you get shelf-stable protection. And the most powerful microbe in the world. It's essentially, effective microorganisms for, the cost of some rice wash water and some milk. And stops food poisoning in an hour or less. Yep, absolutely. All these things. And I say use when protection is needed. Like the police, they're effective but expensive. Be sure to pay them with food so they don't rob you. Same with our police, right? You don't pay the police, they actually become the most well-funded criminal organization. So just, to keep them in the right place, you pay them well, meaning there's enough food around, they'll do really well for you. So that's basically, my thing on it too. Just one page there. And of course, when you look at this and you go back to the applications of here they are, here's the protector column. They're used in the bloom, the leaf, and the soil formula primarily. Those are when they're used. And they really help. You can also think of them as emergency workers. They really help when things are emerging or you have a disaster emergency. Either way, you have something emergent happening. Lactobacillus is your friend on that one. And there's tons I could talk about LAB all day. Sometimes I do, especially if you come here for a class. I just love to talk about lactobacillus and all that. It's just, man, that is like, it's one of my favorite things. And let's see here. So we'll finish up here where it says, sadly, Indiana has been devastated by chemical ag. Eli Lilly's home base, national headquarters for future farmers of America. I have a neighbor who works for Bayer Dow Agro, Ground Zero. Yeah, well, I think those people, I don't know, maybe in the very top echelons, they may be wicked, but I think vast majority of the people throughout those echelons are really good people trying to do their best for the world. And they're trying to just feed, and it's a really kind of impossible situation. And if you go to an ag school, they're just going to tell you about chemical ag and what to do. So you have to reach outside and be kind of like a outside the box hippie thinker. And it's always kind of a challenge to get out of that. And then, natural farming, I'm not offering people, $100,000 salaries to do research for me or do anything. So you gotta, you go where the money's at, which is this large industrial ag. And it's this whole thing to like dismantle this and to get back to the earth. But it really comes down to that as those people start to get more sick and dying because we've polluted our planet, they'll probably realize that Korean natural farming, all edible things, solutions like this are the way to go. So, but I think they're good people out there. I just, they just need to know that there's another solution, another paradigm. And a lot of people look at natural farming like it's a joke or whatever. But the few people that do try it, are like, whoa, this is amazing. And they realize, wow. And it scales. It could scale to that and do the whole thing. So, and here's Mickey as a graduate of a big ag university program, would definitely recommend KNF over any of that stuff. And she, they think it'll find its way there eventually. And I think it will. I really do think it will. To me, it scientifically checks out every way, shape, and form, and it comes in and it's like, it's as scientifically sound as anything, and understanding biological agriculture and understanding like what I'm doing. I mean, when we were in Korea, we were able to talk to a major professor there at Konkuk University, which is like a high-level Korean university. And he was like, whoa, this is the stuff. And, you have to have someone good to teach you, though, to have the precision. You can't just throw stuff in a bucket and be like, oh, it didn't work. It's like, you didn't do it right. You got to have correct solutions in to get the correct product out. And so a lot of people just, they'll get, I'm going to study KNF, and they get some grant money and they just don't know what they're doing, and they do some stuff, and then their paper's like, KNF didn't work. And it's like, it's almost as if they're being paid shills for the chemical ag industry or something, or I don't know, maybe those people have good hearts too. I mean, I always believe that somewhere deep inside everyone there's goodness, right? Because God is amongst us all and within us and without us. And even though he's omnipresent, or is omnipresent. It's just like, sometimes it's like, I'm pretty sure you weren't here right now, but so it is. But anyway, I could go on a whole rant on this, but if you do enjoy that topic and you do want to hear more on that, check out the Microbial Secret Society podcast and check out the episode with Felix Goebel. And we talked all about that, of just the corruption of the ag universities and these things. So, yeah. So anyway, it's good. I hope these things make it in there. I hope we are able to change the world in a good way. I want to thank you guys for tuning in from all over the world. And if you're here again last week, I asked for sincere forgiveness. If you weren't here, just pretend like everything's great, and it continues to be, because it will be. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, making the world a better place. We're a global group. We really can make a huge difference. It's about doing it. It's about being that example. It's about showing people what you're doing. It's about, whatever it is, doing it right. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for spreading the love. Thanks for sharing it. Thanks for being all great. And I'll be back next week again. Pretty much love doing this, love connecting with you guys. So please, thank you. I love you. And really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Aloha.